Jordan, I saw you retweeted, this is going back to last week, but after the Michigan State game, you retweeted the PFF ratings that had you as the #1 player out of that game, and they also had you as one of the best defensive linemen in the Big Ten. I just want to know, how much stock do you put into those ratings as a player?
You try not put too much, but I mean, it is nice having your work go noticed, especially being an interior D lineman. You do most of the grunt work. Shout out Alex Miller, Fred Wyatt, Trevor Kent. Just us being interior guys, it's nice to get a shout out. So I just appreciated the notice from the game.
And then working off of that, like you mentioned, as an interior D lineman, oftentimes your work doesn't really show up on the stat sheet. How do you grade your own performance after a game? Like, what do you look at personally to say, well, I played well this game?
Myself, I try to look at the point of attack. So however many times the ball ran towards me, did I stop it? Did I let the ball pop? I look at how many yards they average. So, for example, the Nebraska game, I think they had like 5 yards per carry, which is more than you want as a defense. So just things like that. And how the guys behind me play. So, Patty, Blake, having a lot of tackles, that means they're getting clean and just can just work. So that's nice.
The run defense has been good this year, but as you mentioned, had a down game. What are you guys working on this week to improve in that regard?
Just getting off. Really focusing on our target, and just being stout. Playing double teams the whole game isn't the easiest job in the world. But just going back to fundamentals, and just fighting for those 6 inches in front of our faces. Just focusing on that every play.
Fitz was really complimenting Rutgers' rushing attack. And as you mentioned, you guys kind of struggled against Nebraska, been up and down over the past couple of weeks. How do you lock in that consistency when you're facing pretty good rushing attacks in just about every week now?
Mm-hmm. I think the big thing we need to focus on is just making a new line of scrimmage every play. The running back, he's the real deal, real explosive. So just containing him and just letting the linebackers flow freely, and triggering off and making plays when we're needed to.
Two huge games on the horizon, Wisconsin and Notre Dame. How do you make sure that this weekend you still get up to play a very solid game?
Fitz always tells us, the goal is to go 1-0. Yes, those are big games like in the future. But, Rutgers, they're in the Big Ten. They're a good team. Everyone has ups and downs. But that's not an excuse to overlook them or not focus on getting it done this week. So, I think this is a maturity game and just, going out there and playing hard, so. Yeah.
Do you think there's a noticeable difference, though, after the last two wins that you guys are sort of back where you want to be as a team?
Not necessarily, because in our minds we want to win every game we go out there, and just having the slow start we did as a team. Still adds fuel to that fire to not be satisfied at the place we're at right now. So all of our goals are still ahead of us, and, just week after week, just doing the little things and proving people wrong. I think that's what is having everyone, get up in the morning and go as hard as they can.
You had a big catch on that 99-yard drive. Can you talk about that drive and just what, going into that drive, what the message was in the huddle and how you guys executed?
Yeah, that drive, it was pretty much the game on the line. Pretty much season on the line. We practice 2-minute drives every single Thursday in practice, so we knew. We talked about it, going out there, get the ball to the middle official, get lined up fast. We got to go 99 yards to score. So just execution. Like I said, stuff we work on every single Thursday, being in those pressure situations. So it was fun to go out there 99 yards to pretty much win a game.
Can you talk about, since you've been here, what you see from Clayton in terms of his development to the point where he's able to lead that kind of a drive?
Yeah, he has confidence. He's been there before. We've had 2-minute drives before. So, he goes out there, he's confident that he's going to be able to make those throws. Our play callers are confident as well as our receivers going out there in those 2-minute drives. Having guys like Flynn, myself, Cam Green, who have been in the arena before, been in those 2-minute drives before, it really helps because, we're confident in our abilities to go out there and make plays with the game on the line.
Flynn had a huge game. He's had a really good start to the season. Can you talk about him and his development and how you've seen him play so far?
Yeah, Flynn's had a great start to the year. He's my best friend. We live together. So, I just talk to him every day. I see him grind every single day. So I'm really happy for him. He's putting the work these past 4 years, but, it's really showing right now being our leading receiver. I think he's leading the Big Ten in receiving. He got Big Ten Player of the Week. So I'm really happy for him. But, the work was done in the preseason in January, grinding every single day, doing extras, stuff like that. So, seeing his hard work pay off is really cool to me.
As a receiving corps, you guys drew multiple pass interference flags and holding flags. I think 4 or 5 on Saturday against Nebraska. Whereas that hasn't really been something we've seen as much from you guys over the past couple of years. Is that something you're working on? Ever work on in practice, like trying to draw a flag on, maybe not necessarily an underthrown ball, but a back shoulder ball, something like that?
We don't necessarily work on it. We're taught just to fight through contact. We know that these DBs are going to be grabbing, they're going to be holding. So really just fight through contact and hope the officials see it. I was called against Michigan State for offensive pass interference when, I feel like I'm grabbed sometimes, but it's just, fight. It's a physical game out there, Big Ten football. You might not see it in other conferences with the way the defensive backs play in the Big Ten, but, they're going to have hands on, they're going to be grabbing. Sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. It's just fighting through contact and making plays. I think on some of those pass interference calls, we ended up making the catch anyway. But, yeah, Coach Springer, he tells us to fight back through the defenders to the ball on deep balls and stuff like that and ball of the call type throws. So, I was a little surprised to see that many pass interferences called. But, I think when they're grabbing like that, just to fight through contact is important and hope that they're called.
And then in terms of the offense, you guys are going to be drawing a lot of attention in the passing game. We saw Nebraska dropping a lot of guys off, and as the running game kind of has dropped off over the last couple of weeks. Does that make it tougher for you to get open when you're running all these routes in actual pass situations? I mean, Clayton dropped back to throw, almost 70 times. Is it tough for you when you're running that many routes to consistently try to get open?
It's a challenge to always get open. We're going against great defensive backs all the time, but I think it kind of makes us excited as receivers that we're going to have the opportunity to catch a lot of balls and run a lot of routes. Blocking is great and everything, but as receivers, we want to catch the ball. So, it's exciting to us, but we love the challenge as well. We want to go out there as a receiving corps, and we want to be the reason our offense is moving the chains and scoring points.
Fitz has talked about how, as the season has gone along, Clayton has gotten stronger and stronger. How do you see that in his performance?
Yeah, you can see at the start of the year, his numbers are better now than the start of the year as far as passing wise. But he came off a major knee surgery. He didn't know if he was going to be able to play football again after that injury in the Music City Bowl. So to see his growth through the rehab process, the first couple games this year, I really think he's at 100% now. He's playing at his level, whereas maybe the first couple weeks he was still coming back from that injury. But seeing him go through that rehab process, being one of his best friends, I'm just happy for him. He's worked his tail off these past 9 months. I think last week maybe marked 9 months since his surgery. So to see every single day him going through the rehab process to the start of the season, fighting off those growing pains, getting the dust off and stuff like that. I'm just very happy for him. He went through a ton of adversity, and to be playing the way he's playing right now is awesome to see.
Is the ball being delivered quicker or in any way differently because as he gets stronger?
Yeah, he's always throws a great ball, but you guys have seen it. These past couple weeks, he's really been on point. I think we threw for 450 yards last week, so the ball is in the right spot.
You came in with Flynn, and he had that injury, and then in his second year, he was having struggles. Leave it at that. How did you watch him go through those struggles and grow out of that, and how did he get out of them?
I don't know if I'd really call it struggles. He might have had a little bit of confidence, but when his confidence is going, when he believes he's the best receiver on the field, and he believes that no defensive back can cover him, I think he is one of the best receivers in the conference and one of the best receivers in the country. So for him, it's a confidence thing. I think he's playing with a ton of confidence right now, and like I said earlier, he's playing his tail off, and he's worked hard for it. But yeah, him being one of my best friends, I see it every single day in practice. He comes to work, and I think he's prepared every single Saturday to go out there and make plays.